What was your first kiss like? I think I was like 10 or 11. She had a blue eyes white dragon. I had none, so I needed it. We made a deal. Not a bad first kiss. To obtain the ability to send my enemies to the Shadow Realm. What skills could you offer in an apocalypse? I could play Batches Toccata and Fugue in D minor on the organ as the doom approached. I would place you at a higher priority than myself, because if the world ends, this is how it should end. I don't know if this counts as a skill, but I can really bring down the morale of others around me and make people splinter off into factions when they should be working together. I could also sabotage efforts to overcome obstacles through starting infighting by hiding food and pouring out water supplies to create unnecessary conflict. The birds in the neighborhood simultaneously start tweeting the Russian national anthem at 2 in the morning. What do you do? Inform the CIA that their spy drones have been hacked, of course. r/birds aren't real. Male users of Reddit. What is the most annoying thing about being a guy? Everything in your life is a competition. Every fucking thing. Are you challenging me? Are you threatening me? The way pee sprays in unpredictable directions sometimes. One time my pee hole got blocked somehow in the middle, and I was peeing in the toilet with a really weak thin stream, and it felt like I wasn't relieving myself of pee, so I tried to push it out harder. I looked down at my penis for further inspection, and realized I had 2 streams going on. One going in the toilet, and one going straight down to the ground. Relatable. What's the absolute most terrifying scenario you can think of? A plane entering freefall when it's not supposed to. You're pulled up against your buckle in weightlessness. Bags fly around the cabin, food and drinks spreading weightlessly in the air. The seatbelt light bings. People are screaming. The engines are whirring high-pitched and hot as the air outside screams by and people scream louder. A floating person or 3 are thrown about as they weren't seated. Flight attendants are nowhere to be seen. Pilot might tell you to assume crash position, as if that'll help. Yellow masks eject from the roof and spread around in the air like tendrils going for some sort of terminal embrace. You've got time to think. You've got time to dread. The pavement or water or mountains are racing up to meet you at speed unknown, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. All you can do is listen to the alarms and grip the armrests and wait for it. I'm flying to Miami in a couple weeks. Thanks for that. Teachers of Reddit. What's the romantic thing a student has done for someone they liked that failed terribly? Former 9th grade science teacher here. The class bookworm finally got the guts to talk to the sweet, quiet girl that shared his class schedule. He approached her before classes started one day with a heart-shaped box of chocolates and a rose. He presented his gifts to her and asked if she'd like to sit next to him every period. She was immediately flattered and blushed. For the rest of the day, the two could be seen holding hands down the hall, sharing sweet gestures, and just smiling at each other in general. I had trouble keeping their attention on the lesson. Even as classes ended, that rose never left her hand. All in all, seemed cute, until the next day. Just before classes started, a fight broke out in the hall. Turns out, Bookworm and 3 other boys, including a senior, were getting into it because sweet, quiet girl told each of them separately that they were her boyfriend. Not sure what punishment, if any, was brought down on the 4 boys, but the principal thought it was ridiculous and tried to make the whole incident forgotten. Last I saw, the girl would only be seen hanging with the senior boy after that. Ex-prisoners of Reddit who have served long sentences. What were the last few days like leading up to your release? I did 15 as 9 MTHS. Got paroled, and I didn't want anyone to know. Too many prisoners get flopped by the parole board. I did a 6-month flop, and they get angry at the guys who get paroled. Guys will fight you, just to try and get your parole taken, or some will see it as a chance to steal. Hey, he's going home. He don't need that shit, and he sure ain't gonna fight for it. I gave most of my stuff to lifers/long timers who didn't have family to send them money. So, the last few days were really spent trying to take up the boredom of no way to pass the time. Didn't really work about work, already had a place to live. I'm one of the fortunate ones. Just worked at keeping my head down and getting out of the gate. Guys will fight you just to try and get your parole taken. Humanity is really just a bucket of crabs.